Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh, this is not a good look, folks. This is a serious optics fail. You'd think that after months of Joe Biden's blunders and fails, that lower-level Democrats would try to take a hint and not follow in the same footsteps. But no, of course not. Democrats don't learn, they just double down. We've been covering how Joe Biden continues to take credit for things that, first of all, he has nothing to do with, or things that never happened. And of course, how he continues to take victory laps, claiming victories on inflation, the southern border, the economy, and the stock market, even though there's crises across the board in every single one of those domains. It's been an utter messaging disaster for the Biden regime across the board on all of these issues, and specifically because of this rhetoric, because of Joe Biden's refusal to just, admit the truth. And you'd think that lower level Democrats would take a hint, but no, of course not. They're following Joe Biden's footsteps. This time we have Democrat Pennsylvania Senate candidate John Fetterman, Little John Fettyman, John Fetterwoman, whatever the hell you want to call him, releasing an ad campaign claiming that he reduced crime. But get this, folks, crime surged during his tenure as mayor of that city, and the moment he left office, guess what? Crime plummeted nearly 61%. The GOP is already pouncing, and it looks like John Fetterman and his campaign are currently scrambling to find a solution here as they receive a massive optics L, another major L in the Fetterman campaign, which seems to be failing and flailing, crumbling before our very eyes. It's all going downhill for Fetterwoman. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, take a look at this. Satanic. John Fetterman cuts ad claiming he made communities safer when crime quadrupled in his city. Now this headline's a little bit confusing. They say John Fetterman cuts ad. I'm not sure if he cut the ad and is not running it anymore because it was a total optics fail, or if Jim Hoft is saying that they cut an ad together like cutting video together. I'm assuming they mean cut the video, put the video together, but it's a little bit of a confusing title. I'm not sure if that's purposeful, but anyways. John Fetterman, the face of the modern day Democrat Party. Fetterman released a dishonest ad today where he claims that he made his community safer. New ad. I'm the only candidate in this race who has actually made our community safer when I served as mayor of Braddock. Our town went 5.5 years without a loss of life through gun violence. Proud to have the support of the sheriff, Sean Kilkenny from Pennsylvania. Here's the ad.
I'm a county sheriff, veteran, and Pennsylvanian. I'm sick of Oz talking about John Fetterman and crime. Here's the truth. John gave a second chance to those who deserved it. Nonviolent offenders, marijuana users. He voted with law enforcement experts nearly 90% of the time. He reunited families and protected our freedom, and he saved taxpayer money. John Fetterman has the courage to do what's right. Dr. Oz doesn't know a thing about crime. He only knows how to help himself.
This is John Fetterman, and I approve this message.
Except here's the problem. John's little stunt here, his little ad, is very easily debunked, and immediately that's being capitalized by his Republican opponents. Crime skyrocketed in Braddock while Fetterman was mayor. Washington, D.C., while on the campaign trail, Pennsylvania Senate candidate John Fetterman claims he was, quote, very successful in reducing crime when he was mayor of Braddock, Pennsylvania. But that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, according to publicly available data, crime skyrocketed in Braddock while Fetterman was mayor. And in 2019, the first year in over a decade that Fetterman was not mayor, Braddock's crime rate dropped by 61%. You guys can see both charts right over here. Violent crime in Braddock and all property crimes in Braddock both spiked during his tenure as mayor, and the moment he left office, violent crime tanked. It does not get any more dishonest than this. He's looking like an absolute fool on this one. I mean, just look at his tweet that he released. The Twitter thread that follows is RNC Research dunking on him. Thread: here are 4 of the brutal killers John Fetterman voted to release. Stop lying. Violent crime surged while you were mayor. Here are the many, many times John Fetterman called for releasing 1/3 of the inmate population. It doesn't get any more dishonest. And the people of Pennsylvania are seeing this and they're discussing this, and it's going to have a serious impact. You don't get to be the soft-on-crime Democrat who's during his time as mayor oversaw a massive spike in violent crime that magically just disappeared after he was released. You don't get to be that guy, that person, then try to take victory laps or take credit as being a law enforcement hawk or being a public safety guy. Just like Joe Biden doesn't get to take credit for his economic policy. But both of these goons, both of these fools are doing exactly that, and it's going to backfire and backfire spectacularly. In fact, John Fetterman's 48% ceiling is kind of dropping these days. I just saw a poll showing him at 47%. His overall average lead against Mehmet Oz also continues to shrink within the 3 to 4 percentage point mark. Then you gotta add undecideds most likely splitting Republican, then you gotta add the margin of error, and Republican support just in general being underestimated. John Fetterman's campaign is in serious trouble, and this right over here doesn't help. The optics of his campaign are terrible. I don't even understand his policies, to be completely honest with you. So far what we've heard from John Fetterman is I agree with every single one of Bernie Sanders' campaign. Not exactly a great pitch in a moderate state like Pennsylvania. Then you have his soft on crime policies. Again, not exactly a great pitch in Pennsylvania as we're seeing a massive crime surge there over the last little while, especially in Philadelphia. Not exactly a good pitch considering the most important districts that you need to win in a state like Pennsylvania are the Philadelphia suburbs. And so after this massive campaign L, and just the lack of a concrete messaging campaign in the first place, I wouldn't be surprised if John Fetterman's campaign continues to crumble. In the same way that we're seeing Mandela Barnes continue to crumble. I mean, Mandela Barnes clearly is just the Wisconsin version of Pennsylvania's John Fetterman, and we've seen exactly what's happened there, and it's also getting a whole lot worse. In this most recent Wisconsin poll by Fabrizio Ward and Impact Research, a Democrat and Republican pollster combination, Ron Johnson now leads Mandela Barnes at 51 to 46%, and Tim Michels has overtaken Tony Evers at 50 to 47. This is a prediction that we made maybe 2 months ago, that these were the numbers that we would start seeing the closer we get to election day, because Mandela Barnes is not the right candidate for Wisconsin politics. And I've been saying forever that what's going to happen to Mandela Barnes is most likely going to happen to John Fetterman, and trust me, it's going to happen. The more these videos circulate, the more the hypocrisy circulates, the more people realize what John Fetterman's true track record is, and how much of a liar and a hypocrite he is. The more people realize how extreme he is, how incompetent and unqualified for the job he is, and then add on top of that the fact that he is clearly not healthy after suffering a stroke, well, the more John Fetterman is going to tank. And by virtue, Mehmet Oz is gonna start rising. I mean, I truly believe that's the dynamic that we're gonna see in the state of Pennsylvania. Mehmet Oz isn't making these big campaign moves. He's not packaging a really coherent, strong message and putting it out there. He's frankly terrible at campaigning. What I think is going to continue to happen here is John Fetterman is going to continue to tank his own campaign. Mehmet Oz is not going to rise. John Fetterman is going to continue to screw up, and people are going to continue to get exposed to his BS. And by virtue, Mehmet Oz is going to be the clear option. It's the South Park phenomenon of making the decision between a turd sandwich and a giant douche. People are forced with choosing the lesser of two evils. And I think very, very clearly that is Mehmet Oz. John Fetterman's campaign messaging isn't working, and also his attack ads aren't working at all. Merely calling Mehmet Oz rich as being your main political talking point or main political attack point in the end isn't going to cut it.
Steel workers! Steel workers! What an honor it is to be here with you today. Just earlier today, I was so proud to march with you in downtown Pittsburgh. Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. You know, how many homes does Dr. Oz have? 9, 10, 11?
My opponent is rich and owns real estate isn't a persuasive political argument. There's not enough good going for John Fetterman to buck the clear right-wing trend. We're in a Republican-favored electoral environment, and so either John Fetterman is going to underperform and just barely squeak by, or we're going to see a massive upset victory as this guy's campaign continues to crater, and this is just another massive L to add to the long list of John John Fetterwoman massive L's throughout this campaign season. I mean, the guy seems to be modeling his campaign after Joe Biden. Doesn't exactly seem like a sound strategy considering this election is possibly or probably going to be a referendum on Joe Biden's presidential performance, and even Jen Psaki was able to admit that. That's what I got for you guys on this one though. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.